Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. This one I'm sitting down with another project founder that's looking at a DePin play, not like specifically like ones we've talked about before with World Mobile or IAGON, but it's a DePin aggregator. So Raul, it's great to have you on. Happy that you could take the time to come on and explain to us what it's all about.
Thank you, Paul. Very excited to be here and talk everything Nuvola.
Nice. So look, we jump straight into it? Who are you and what is Nuvola? And then I have lots of different questions about how the inner workings of it are all going to come together.
I'm Raul de Benedittis. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Nuvola Digital. I founded it in partnership with my co-founder and CTO, Syed Lanka. I handle more the business operational aspect of it, and he handles the technical aspect of the operations themselves.
Okay, so for people who haven't heard, I'll let you give the introduction to DePin. I talk about it a bit on the channel here with IAGON, World Mobile, and other bits as well. I think it's a very big narrative in this cycle because it's something people outside of crypto can understand. You actually run something physical and you get rewarded for that. So can you get into your definition, I suppose, of DePin and then into Nuvola and how that plays into DePin?
Mm-hmm. DePin is short for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. It's quite a tongue twister. But essentially, DePin, the way it works is it could be for any service. In this case, we'll use the example of cloud storage and computing. These entities, such as IAGON, World Mobile, they allow end users or anyone who's technically inclined or has the experience to do so to run node and server operations on behalf of their network to contribute to the robustness, the decentralization, security, and its sheer size. Now, in doing so, they revenue share all of their income from their customer base or any other revenues they bring in specifically to the node operators. Now, while the model itself is very decentralized in the service and how it provides the service to the end user, the revenue share model is extremely centralized where it only flows back into reward the node operators. This is where Nuvola steps in. The idea was first conceived when I was trying to run my own node for IAGON, and I hit a brick wall when I realized I don't know what I'm doing on the technical side with the read-write speeds, internet speeds, what servers do I need, and how to run the nodes themselves. And that's when I partnered with my co-founder Syed, who has that technical experience with data centers. He has run his own nodes, but in short, what we do at Nuvola is we run nodes and servers on behalf of the public, and we tap into that revenue share stream that normally would be exclusive to only node operators, and we revenue share that back with our NVL holders. So essentially, we make a very exclusive revenue share model, more inclusive to a larger group of people, and we take out all of the technical barriers that they would face, and we handle that for them.
Okay, yeah. I suppose it's relatively new, the project. So it caught my attention when you come out with the IAGON partnership, and I think lots of other people as well, because IAGON has been around for a while now. So any partnerships that come out, it definitely gets attention. How did that come about with IAGON and yourselves?
So I've actually spoke to Nabjit about 18 months ago. I was dealing with a different project, just seeing how IAGON could essentially bridge into what they were doing. They were just coming over from Ethereum at the time, so it was like the perfect timing to get him introduced to something on Cardano. And my co-founder was also working on a separate app, which has now been absorbed by Nuvola, in talks with IAGON that kind of never materialized. So when I got with my co-founder Syed, I started to discuss the idea of maybe helping me with my node, and then the light bulb went off, and it was like, how do we make this bigger on a grander scale? And immediately, IAGON was in the conversation for us too. So we said, let's set this up. Like, let's get a white paper, and then we approached Navjet and IAGON, and we presented forth what we were trying to do at the scale and the size of what we were trying to do. And immediately he realized that we're not just trying to be a small player. We're actually trying to boost the network. They've been flirting with some bare metal partnerships, and the demand that's going to come from those is going to be extremely aggressive, and their network needs to be sizable enough and robust enough to handle it. Not saying that it currently cannot, but IAGON, and I think this is rather bullish, as big as they have grown, they are still very small in network size, which speaks to how large it will actually grow in the future. So our model essentially helps their network expand very rapidly to meet the coming demand that they will see coming into the end of the year.
Okay, so for people who aren't familiar with how IAGON and IAGON staking works, I do have videos, I'll link them below. But on the high level, if you have extra storage space on your computer or you have hard drives or whatever, you can provide them to the network, and that allows you to stake IAG, and then you earn more of the IAG token as the reward for it. So what you guys are doing, are ye putting up the IAGON token as well that gets staked into the network, and then the rewards that come from that are paid out to holders, is it?
Yes. So we have our raise, our token sale is this Thursday, April 18th. And we will be using capital from the raise to go into an OTC deal with IAGON, which we've already concluded and contracted on, where a good portion of the IAGON operation goes to buying the actual token itself that is put inside of the nodes. And then another portion is actual for the hardware and the maintenance and the services there. And then all the rewards earned from simply running the nodes will be shared with our NVL token holders, since essentially came from the raise, right? And also, that's just one stream of income that IAGON allows. There's the staking rewards for node operations themselves. Then there's computing operation rewards. So when they fully bring online computing, that will be a secondary revenue stream. And then there's also the revenue share from actual customers buying the storage and using or paying for the services of computing. So there's essentially 3 revenue share models there within IAGON alone that our NVL holders will get complete exposure to simply by being part of our community.
Nice. And there is a breakdown on that then. I think you put out a video maybe yesterday, I think I seen it, where you break down how this all works. So the rewards that are earned from IAGON being the first, we'll get into others now in a few minutes. It being the first, was it 50% goes to NVL holders, and then there's a split off to treasury and team. Do you want to give the high level on that?
Yep. So the video you mentioned, we discuss our model, which essentially it's called a 1-to-X ROI model, where 1 represents the input or someone purchasing a set amount of NVL tokens, but their output or their return is a variable that can change over time. For example, IAGON being our first partnership, that makes our model immediately a 1-to-1, where someone purchases NVL and they'll start to receive rewards from our first partnership. As we partner with more DePin entities, that ratio for the same buyer not having to come out of pocket anymore for more NVL tokens still increases. So it could be a 1-to-2, 1-to-3, and in the example in the video, I went up to 1-to-5, where they can earn from 5 different revenue streams simply from holding the same amount of tokens. So this model, essentially, we do the work on behalf of the public, and by staking, they earn the rewards. Now, you can only earn as a public member by staking your tokens. 50% of all the rewards generated by Nuvola go to public staked tokens. The other 50% are heavily put into the treasury, operating and maintenance costs, and then lastly, team expansion. Being that we're going to be on an international scale, we're spread across many countries already. We will eventually need boots on the ground at our own data centers, so we're allocating a good portion for that expansion as well. Now, one thing that did come up in our Discord, which was great because it showed that maybe we could have clarified better. Only staked public tokens earn from the 50% of the share, not the entire supply of NVL tokens. So team held tokens and treasury held tokens do not take from that 50%. So that 50% goes to staked tokens. Now, let's say only day one, there'll be roughly 14 million tokens available for public after the sale. Let's say that only half of those tokens are staked. So 7 million will earn the totality of the 50% of those rewards. The other half of the rewards that were allocated to those holders will get split 50-50 between the stakers and the treasury. So there's always a flow back into our holders and our treasury. And then our treasury is always deployed into more partnerships to further increase everyone's percentage, not the percent, but the value of the percent that they get. I hope I explained that properly.
Yeah. What I can do as well is I will link the video you had on Twitter that explains the different, as you move into different models and the splits. I will put that one down below this as well for anyone who wants to re-listen to that or get a few more details on it. And with the staking, is the staking locked? I know with the likes of IAGON, the payouts come, you can't claim, it's not instant claim, you can't claim every day when someone goes to unstake NVL. How are you working your staking model? Is it locked for certain periods, or is it people can come and go?
So on our end specifically, to show rewards accumulation, we don't have a locked system. I personally don't believe in locked staking. I like the Cardano way. It's very liquid. You could come and go as you please. You're only going to earn for the amount of time that you are staked. So from our end, I'll explain that first. There'll be likely a 2-week warm-up period where wallets have to stay staked for at least 2 weeks to begin to earn. They will earn from day one of being staked, but 2 weeks must pass in order to start claiming, essentially. And then from that day forth, they start to continue. As far as the unlock of the actual rewards, we will have to be dependent on IAGON and our partnerships based on their schedule. Once they do allow for unlocking, we're going to set our own schedule to ensure that it's frequent enough, but not frequent enough where it makes sense for everyone involved. And at that point, we'll have a pool where people can just connect their wallet and claim their portion of rewards. But it will be schedule dependent on our partnership. So if IAGON does unlocks every 3 months, we will also follow suit and allow unlocks in 3 months and 1 day to make sure that we obviously have everything tied up on our end. If another partnership does it every month, it will be adjusted for that partnership reward pool for monthly, and so on and so forth.
Okay. And if, say, I'm staking and I staked for 3 weeks and I decide I want to stop staking now and do whatever else with the token, the IAGON or whatever other partner, the rewards aren't available yet. Do I lose them because I have unstaked, or can I come back in and claim them even if I don't have the NVL token at the time, say whatever date that is in the future? Can I still get access to the tokens I've earned?
Yes, so the wallet will be snapshotted for the 3 weeks that it was staked, and it will essentially have those rewards locked, and then it can be claimable later.
Ah, perfect. And when I stake, do I have to choose the partner that I'm staking with? Or if you have 5 different partnerships, do I earn all 5 tokens for staking the NVL?
Yeah, you will earn from any revenue stream that Nuvola is essentially bringing in. It's going to be a very quick plug and play stake, and you don't get to choose which side it's. I don't think why people would deny money right from one side or
Yeah.
another. Um, but you will essentially earn from the total pool and all the partnerships that we have within it. So it'll be a lot easier for people to manage and track that. Our staking dashboard, we're looking to have that live probably about, I want to say within the first 4 weeks following the token sale launch. We are in talks with staking providers and smart contract providers for that. So you'll have a dashboard where you connect your wallet. You can see the overall health of Nuvola, where the total rewards, allocation for the treasury, the public, and then you will also be able to see your own staking rewards accruing in real time.
Okay. And one bit that caught my eye anyway when I was looking at your Twitter was the token is paid out in the native token. So rather than, I think you mentioned already, it's not NVL token you earn. And so if I stake, I earn IAG or I earn whatever the other tokens are. They're the ones I get paid out rather than you earning the IAG and selling that off then to buy NVL.
Correct. Yeah, no, there will be no staking reward payouts in NVL token. It will all strictly be to the partnership that we are with. As long as it's if they're in Cardano, it will be a native token reward payout. So, like you said, partnership with IAGON, people receive IAG. If we partner with World Mobile, they'll receive their token as well. Now, as far as our cross chain partners, we have partnered with Dex Hunter to assist us with potential cross-chain swaps if it makes sense to wrap those assets or bring them back into Cardano. But more than likely to start, we will convert that portion of the rewards to ADA and then bring those back in that way for our community.
Okay. And what other partnerships, or is there any in line yet that we can talk about? We've touched on maybe cross-chain, maybe World Mobile, or is there anything else we can look at for partners?
We've made some contact with World Mobile. We're still kind of trying to figure out the approach there and what makes sense. There's a few things I can't speak on, unfortunately, in relations to them and a few others. And then we have a call with one today, Tuesday, April 16th, in a few hours, just to kind of try to solidify some deal and see how we can proceed forth. So they are within Cardano. It's a great start for us. As far as cross-chain partnerships, we've started to review quite a few white papers and see wrap our heads around the rewards model. What the thing a lot of people don't notice up front is when you look into these partnerships, it's like multifaceted where there's a lot of moving pieces. So while the rewards may be very lucrative and it might be a quick setup to get the nodes and servers going, you have to maintain a specific amount of performance or meet certain metrics that can make the rewards a little less lucrative. So we want to make sure we dot our I's, cross our T's, and do our entire cost analysis before we thoroughly announce any kind of partnerships. We also have to be careful of people trying to, as we grow in size, which I'm very confident that we will be making some pretty sizable partnerships purchases. So we don't want to get front ran by the communities that are involved as well. That's always a risk to us. So I wish I could speak further on actual partnerships, but I can't at the moment. I can tell you this, that as we're getting closer, we solidified one. Maybe we could get on a live stream and announce them together.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I have to bring you back on to get any of them leaks out, is it?
Yeah.
So then so buybacks, will you be buying back the NVL token, or is all of what's earned in the token, does that go back to just share? So it's nearly like a dividend that's paid out to holders?
So we also discussed this, and I think at random to bring some exciting kind of surprises here and there. With the treasury, we can do buybacks, and we could go pick up NVL token from open market at random. And what that does is it takes more tokens out of the public staking rewards pool that for those allocations. So we could essentially increase the rewards that are flowing to the staked tokens side as well, because there's less in circulation that essentially will be eligible for that pool. So we are definitely looking to do those at random and kind of give the community a staking a little boost as well.
Okay. And on the legal side, was there anything you had to do for actually paying out rewards? I've seen some projects have been wary of going the route of paying rewards directly out in other tokens, and sometimes that's why they do it in their own token. Is there anything you had to look at there to make sure everything was aligned for this?
Yeah, so we're registered in Dubai as a business entity. This gives us a good amount of freedom to perform, these types of transactions as well. But I think the whole securities conversation is one big gray area. Essentially, we're following an existing model that essentially we're not giving money, we're not handing it, we're not airdropping. People have to claim through a portal. It's a transaction, which begins to kind of detach us from the aspect of us just essentially giving or, handing money over to people. So they stake into the portal and they have to activate their reward allocation. Also, we're not guaranteeing any kind of rewards to anyone. This is essentially all going to be estimations of what models we are essentially working alongside. We will have very strong legal reps on our side following the funding phase to make sure that we dot the I's, cross the T's. But our model is pretty sound. It's in existence. It's been done by other projects, not to this degree or in this exact sector of DePin, but the staking model itself with rewards distributions has been around for quite some time. So we're confident following through in that lane.
Okay. And I suppose being in Dubai, they're a lot more open than businesses in the US. Have to be a lot more cautious you have to be careful everywhere. But from what I've seen, Dubai seems to be a lot more open and crypto friendly.
Yep.
But location of servers, then, I don't know if we covered this bit already. With yourselves, are you using third parties or are you hosting servers yourselves, or what is the plan long term?
Yeah. So we're starting with third-party servers. We're spread across 5 different countries at the moment. I believe it's US, Canada, Germany, France, and India. We are also expanding over into Singapore, maybe even down to Sydney, Australia, following the token raise. So we're going to be spread internationally from day one. We already are essentially, right? We set up 400 terabytes worth of storage over the last week and kind of surprised the community. So our future holders are already racking up some rewards. They didn't even know about it until yesterday. But as far as our roadmap, we're starting, we're starting with that approach first with third party. And by end of 2025, early 2026, we're looking to have our own data centers established. Now, those do come with their own set of overhead costs that we just don't see it to be feasible to try and jump into now. We'd obviously need some real estate and location set up, and then a managing staff to oversee operations on the ground. So to start, I think the third-party service with rentals is essentially the path of least resistance, and it's also the most profitable for the early days. And then as we grow and there's more revenue coming in, it's going to make a lot more sense for us to manage, because also once we have our own data centers and servers, we can also provide the service of renting them out, which will also bring in another revenue stream for Nuvola. That just reminded me that while we are partnering and attaching ourselves to different networks and providing a service for them, we are also working on an app that has 2 different elements to it that will work great in parallel with the networks that we are providing a service to. So it's a very cohesive model all around, where if there's anything that they essentially do not provide, we can bring online and provide for them in parallel as well.
Okay, and getting access to the NVL token, I think you mentioned it's this Thursday, is the sale is coming up. That's happening through Coinecta, which is a new launchpad on Cardano. Is that the only way people can get access, or is there any public access to the sale?
Yeah, so there's it's all going through Coinecta. There is a portion of allocation of tokens for Coinecta holders, and then the other portion is for the public. The public and Coinecta sale holder sale will happen simultaneously. I believe it starts at 3 p.m. UTC, 11 a.m. EST. If I did my time conversions correctly on that. And it will be a 24-hour sale. Everyone can purchase in at the same time. The Coinecta holders will get a more guaranteed allocation in the event of an oversubscribed sale. It'll be a floating price pro rata, so we're looking to raise a target of 4.5 million, which brings the price to 0.32 ADA. In the event of oversubscription, it's capped at that price. If it's undersold, let's say we only sell 4 million out of 4.5. The excess NVL tokens that are unsold will be redistributed to the buyers in proportion to their size. So we can still take on the funding and start operations. And in the process, even if undersubscribed, we can still reward the initial investors with a larger allocation as well.
Okay, so there is no minimum raise. The project happens no matter what. It's going ahead.
We can essentially jumpstart with a good, even a smaller amount of capital, but to the degree that we are trying to do this for it to really make sense, we think 4.5 is the perfect sweet spot. It's not a matter of if it can be done with less capital, it still can be. Just the growth potential would happen at a little bit of a slower rate, right? But the compounding effect that I spoke about in the video you mentioned on the whiteboard video, it would still take effect no matter what. So we're very confident in the ask as well.
Okay, nice. Anything we haven't covered on the project? I'm conscious of trying to get as much information into a concise amount of time as we can, but anything we haven't mentioned that might be helpful for people?
Um, I don't think so. I think we did we did a pretty good job summarizing everything for the most part. Our Discord channel is always open. We've been seeing a good amount of questions flooding in, people showing like really positive interest in what we're doing. So if there's anything we didn't cover here, I'm sure that I'll see some friendly faces in Discord asking about it.
Great. Yeah, I'll leave the links to Discord. I think I also mentioned the video you had on Twitter talking about the different models and how, as you expand out, the 1 to X income streams. So I'll put all of that down below. And just final one, actually, vesting. Is there any vesting on the tokens that people get, or are all of them available to stake from day one?
They will be available. They won't be able to stake until the staking portal is live. So that's actually a good point you brought up. For the very first reward claim, until the stake portal is live, everyone will be allocated essentially a reward. Once staking goes live, to continue that reward accumulation, you have to stake. So obviously, there's going to be a delay in our staking portal until it's up. Everyone is essentially earning equally from the public side. And then after that, you have to be staked to continue to earn and maintain that as well. As far as the team tokens, they are vested, 6 months locked, and then they'll be on a 18-month linear. So essentially, it's like a 2-year unlock for the full allocation of tokens, which that's the least of my concerns. I've just focused on getting. That's why we did it that way, because we're not trying to get the tokens immediately. Our main priority is making sure that Nuvola succeeds as fast as possible, and the rest will kind of take care of itself on that side.
Okay, I think that's all for me really. On actually one final on the token staking, do the tokens get sent to a smart contract? I know you mentioned snapshots. Will that take a snapshot of people's wallet, or will they have to send the NVL into a contract?
This is the technical aspect that I personally am not too sure about. I would like a snapshot more style where the tokens don't really leave the wallet, if possible. It's just registered as a staked token or staked asset, kind of like a stake pool for Cardano, right? Where it still shows in the wallet, but it's staked essentially.
Yeah.
We're going to try to follow that style. I'm not much of a coder or smart contract guy, so I can't answer fully, but I will make sure that it's as liquid as possible for people and easy to interact and transact.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's all for me. Anyone interested in learning more on the project, I will leave all the links that we discuss here and any other ones I can find down below. Make sure to check it out. And DePin, I said at the beginning, I think is only going to become a bigger and bigger narrative throughout this bull cycle, because people can understand it even if they're not involved in crypto. You look at other cycles, what people from the outside got into, it's something they could actually get a grasp of, or that made some kind of sense to them without going down the full rabbit hole of crypto. Subscribe if you're new, share it out, let others know what's going on, give it a like, and leave questions below, and I will try and get answers for them too. Raul, thanks for your time, and I guess we'll have to catch up soon for whatever the next announcement is.
Yes, thank you, Paul. I'm looking forward to it.
Take care, guys.